Yeah, the other buzzword that I wanted to talk a little bit about is what we call unschooling.
Mm-hmm.
And it more or less, again, depending on the parent, can be very much discovery-based learning,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Mm-hmm.
can be, again, a free-for-all
Mm-hmm.
and no schedule and really no subject either and no
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wherever the day leads. That's what we're learning about. And
Mm-hmm.
that's nice. Like in your touchstones on your website, you've got little snippets. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd agree that it's good to introduce children to a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and to kind of facilitate that a little bit by telling them where to go, how much time they have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yes, follow through with the whole lesson before
Right.
you decide that this is something you're not interested in.
Right. Right.
So what is the value in that?
I think that it's one of those, I think it falls in line with rigorous intention.
Mm,
I think that and I know kids are real good actors. I probably was as a kid, or maybe I was better than I thought. But rigorous intention is, again, a good place to start if you are wanting to do unschooling.
mm,
The rigorous intention of the student to, let's say you're unschooling and you're going on for a nature walk, right?
mm-hmm,
I think there's a place for unschooling in saying we're going to have a theme and we're going to
mm-hmm,
go through it. And the idea, again, of rigorous intention is to rigorously investigate something.
mm-hmm,
And so I think in terms of unschooling, very much so, if we're to tie it back to EWC Ed, it's, start the day with a touchstone.
mm-hmm.
And let that maybe, again, develop the roads of inquiry for the day. But maybe you pick one of the questions that
Mm-hmm.
leads the questioning for the day. And perhaps you don't set a set schedule. You say, okay, we've gone from this to this, and maybe we're going to cover math today somehow. So let's find some way to bring math into whatever touchstone we see. To me,
Mm-hmm.
this idea of doing it in a way that is at least moderately structured, the science is there, the data is there, that is better for your
Mm-hmm.
student. And again, I think in this idea of preparation, unschooling, I would say, is perhaps good, as not all workplaces are incredibly regimented.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe teaching flexibility is good through the process of unschooling. The idea of, like, when something comes, let's be able to change it up quickly.
Right.
But again, that comes with structure. That comes with sort of teaching the idea of flexibility along with the idea of
That's
unschooling,
so
right?
true.
Is to say we had a set schedule, or we had an idea of what we were going to get out of the end of the day. And instead we headed down this corner, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So what did we learn from heading down that corner? Just even wrapping it up at the end of the day, I think, is a
Mm-hmm.
good way to help your student process why we did what we did, and then
Sure.
how it can be applicable to the outside world. I mean, I'm a big applicable to
Mm,
the outside world person.
yes,
And so I
definitely.
think if you are using EWC Ed or any resource with the
Mm-hmm.
process of unschooling, of following whatever happens in the day, do take a little time at the end of the day. Just say, what did we learn today? What do you think?
Mm,
Why do you think we broke the schedule and went
right.
down that process? Because that is going to
Right.
help your student more than anything be able to process and then understand why being flexible is important, or why
Right.
encouraging a spirit of inquiry is important.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's decision making,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
isn't that one of the most important skills that
Right.
we can teach our children is
Right.
what's important to make decisions, and how do we make those decisions? What do we base our decisions on?
Mm-hmm.
And what makes something way more valuable than another thing?
Yeah.
And where does that lead us?
Right.
We, like you were talking about, learning through mistakes as well. Our day could end in a mess. Well, we didn't learn anything at all because this led to this and it was a catastrophe.
Right. Right.
But maybe that's what we learned today.
Yeah. And that's the process you learned. And I think it's wonderful to, and again, I think both of those methods come down to structure and rigorous
Mm,
intention. Have rigorous intention as an educator. Have a way that you'd like to generally direct the day.
mm,
Come at it with at least half a plan. You know, I think that's really important and vital. And then if you go off plan, talk about it with your student, why you went off plan. Why did you, you know, you came with a day and you said, we're going to teach English today, and instead the process of inquiry led us down learning about environmental science. Why did we do that? Why did we choose one over the other as being more important?
Yes.
I think that what's important about scaffolding is it helps your student understand. Students are not just going to automatically just be like, I totally understand why we did what we did today, especially
Exactly.
younger kids. But by giving them the tools, again, scaffolding a little bit to say, here's why we chose to do what we do, I think you make it so much more valuable for your student, and give them something more to latch onto. And again, connecting it to down the road jobs and school, you give them a really valuable skill set that allows them, that is unique to being a homeschooler, and I think allows them to become very much more productive people in the workplace, and also and learners beyond the homeschooling dimension.